Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Leah Marvel. For those of you that are new here, I am a transformational coach, an author, a speaker, a model, former attorney at law, former Miss Barbados, and all the things. And on this channel, we talk about transforming your life in a year. And today I wanted to talk about who do you want to become? And I see often in my coaching sessions, a lot of people have an idea of who they want to become, but are never quite sure. Maybe they have multiple interests. Maybe they've been told who they want to become, but they're not quite sure that that's who they actually authentically in their heart wants to become. And so I just wanted to talk a bit about that today. I think it's a process that you have to go through in order to understand what your goals are going to be for the year ahead of you. So today we're going to jump right in. If you have been here and you've been liking my content, give it a like, a subscribe, and a comment. You know what it does for the algorithm. And I appreciate you. I appreciate every one of you that comes here and joins us for each new video, that leaves your comments, that reaches out personally. I appreciate each and every message. Today we're talking about who is it that you want to become. And I know that there's a lot of talk about purpose and a lot of talk about becoming the best version of yourself. And I am a strong proponent for that as well. I believe that it is important and critical that you understand what your purpose is in your current season of your life, in your life in general, so that you are truly aligned with what's important to you and truly aligned with what is fulfilling to your soul. I think that is what will keep you the healthiest, the happiest. I'm a strong proponent for that, but it would be remiss of me to talk to you about purpose and about becoming without taking a moment to really give reverence to the present moment. And I think this is the part that when we talk about purpose that we often don't talk about enough. It's about taking the time to give reverence to the present moment. And why is this important? It's important because the you that you are right now has been so valiant in getting you to this point where you're at right now. The you that you are has brought you through every single circumstance, every single moment that has gone before now. And if you've ever faced a tough time before, then you really ought to be thanking yourself in this moment. We all know there is no moment like the present. We know that tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And so to constantly live in a state where you are looking for more, you're dreaming of the future or fantasizing about the future or thinking that salvation is in a time that is ahead of now, the more you're taking reverence away from the gift of life that is right now. Take stock of who you are presently. Who is she or he? What is she like? What has she done? How has she brought us here? How has he brought us here? And as you look at yourself in the present moment, you may not be as perfect or as clean around the edges as you would like to be. Maybe you are close or very far away from where you're trying to get to. But I want you to understand the characteristics and the things that make up the essence of who you are in this moment, because that is the foundation upon which you're building the better version of yourself. So it's very important, and this is why in my planner, in my Be to Become planner, which you guys know about, my personal development and productivity planner, at the beginning, this is part of the process. A part of the process is getting present to understand where you're at. And you know, aside from being present and understanding who you are, being present is also about understanding what life is asking for you in this moment. There's a part of life that we are not in control of, that has been divinely created or has been divinely assigned. We meet ourselves in these moments where life might give us a circumstance that is asking us to show up in a particular way. It's asking us to take a particular action that we did not plan on. It's very important that in assessing and having reverence for your present moment, that you really try to listen and get clear as to what life is asking of you in this current season, because that is also a guidance to what is to come. When I think about who I was becoming, how did I get to this point? How did I get to this point of sitting here and talking to you and sharing knowledge and becoming a transformation coach? I didn't set out to do that. I went into law school at 17 years old. I didn't set out to be a transformation coach. you know. But when you peel back the layers and look at the whole journey that has brought me here, I understand that I went through seasons of life where life was asking me to show up in a particular way. And what I did was I said yes to the moment, or I listened and I honored that present moment. And I think that that is a great way to understand who you're meant to become, by understanding what life is asking of you. Some people are born knowing what they want to do. They've always had this desire in their hearts. You know, some people have always known that they wanted to be a singer. And then some of us do not, you know, some of us might be interested in a lot of different things, but there's no one particular thing that has called so significantly that, you know, you settle on that path. And that was me at 17. I was doing well in school. I was on track to get a scholarship. I was doing all these different things, and when all my friends were filling out their university applications and they were doing their SATs to go to college overseas and all these different things, I wasn't doing anything. Fun fact about me, I started university 2 weeks after everyone started, simply because when everyone was filling out applications, I was doing nothing. And also, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so my aunt intervened in my life and she asked me, Leah, you need to decide on something. Are you going to university? If you're going to university, then you need to do a degree that positions you in the best possible way. Do you want to be a doctor or do you want to be a lawyer? And I had always heard that, you know, people around you tell you things about yourself, give you feedback. And I'd always heard that, you know, you should be a lawyer. So I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And that is how I got started. I'm so grateful for that law degree. But I'm saying this to say to you that in that moment, I was following what life was asking of me. Life was asking me to make a decision on where I wanted to go to school and what my degree was. And I listened and showed up in a particular way that set me on a path of becoming a lawyer. And I'm very grateful for my law degree. I would not take any of it back. It has opened up and given me so much richness. I currently don't practice as a lawyer because, as you are aware, it wasn't a passion or a path that was set out for me. I was good at it. I had interest in it, but it was not calling to me. But I went through the process. So that part of my life took me through that. And then I was discovered by a model agent, and that set me out on a path to become a model. And there again, life was asking me something. So I'm saying that one of the first steps to finding out who you want to become is by understanding where you are presently, who you are presently, and what life is asking of you in this moment, and just following that, because that becomes the stepping stone to the next thing. In the process of understanding who you want to become, I think it is so important to look at, what do you like to do? We live in a world that encourages us to have this outward projection of the world. Like, we can look at someone and clearly see, oh, that person is very talented in this way, or this person is very talented in that way. But often we don't look at ourselves in this way, and we're very shy about it. So I'm encouraging you that as you discover who you want to become, be very audacious about the things that you know you're good at. What are you talented with? You know, what are your gifts? And your talent and your gifts may be two separate things. What is your skill set? What is it that you may not seem like a skill set to you, but you know you have the ability to shift a room in a particular way. For example, having humor may not be a skill set, but it may be your gift, or it may be something that you're good at and the way that you impact a room. These are all the things that I want you to get curious about, because when you start to pull all these things together, you build an essence of who you are. And that essence is the thing that it becomes the secret sauce, or becomes the magic that is yours. It is the thing that then shows you or aligns you to where you're meant to be and who you're meant to be. I encourage you to ask yourself, what are my gifts? What are my talents? And if you don't feel like you can readily understand that, ask for feedback. Ask the people around you. Because like I said, it's easy for us to observe in other people what people might be good at. In that same way, someone might be observing you and can clearly see things in you that you don't see in yourself. While we seek feedback from everyone, I don't want you to become dependent on what people see in you. Growing up in the Caribbean, we're we live in a society where people tell you who you should be and what you should do to meet society standards. While that is protective, a lot of it has good intentions behind it. A lot of it is about making sure that we're set on the right path, and I think that guidance is important, but you cannot become dependent on it, because what happens in a scenario where someone has a limitation on their sight and then they cannot see in you what is present in you because they haven't gone that far in their imagination or in their vision or in their lives. And so you ultimately at some point in your life have to be responsible for your own vision, and that requires you going inward. That is why this process is so important. Your vision is uniquely yours. He's not going to give your vision to someone else. He's going to give it to you. And so you have to get curious. Be bold about your questions about yourself. Be bold about owning your gifts and your talents and your skills and your joys and your interests. Be bold about that, because those are the stepping stones that will lead you to the life that you're meant to have. Another way of understanding who you want to become is by thinking about what do you want to be remembered for. And this is a theory. I've done this in my own therapy. I've done it on retreats that I've gone to. And it's a theory that multiple people use. It's about taking you to the end of your life. It may seem a little morbid, but it's really very powerful when you do it. It takes you to the end of your life and asks you to think of yourself, maybe as you write your eulogy for yourself, or think of yourself at your funeral. What would you want someone to say about you? We often think about our life, but we often don't think about our death, because no one wants to do that. I think what happens is that you clear away a lot of the noise of what life presents, and you get very clear about what is important. It's a great way to move away the noise. It's a great way to simplify. It's a great way to understand what is truly very important. I've had to do it. My process, it was actually very involved, and I can't go too much into detail about it, but let's say I visualized the end and who was present and all that kind of stuff, and it was very clear to me. It was very cathartic. It's something that I still carry with me as I move through life. You know, now that I make decisions about my next career path and where I want to live and all these different things, I remember a lot that moment that brought me to the end and what was very important to me. And it was only one thing. There was only one thing that was important to me. That has guided all of my decisions. So I encourage you to think about, what do you want to be remembered for? And you can grab a notepad and a pen and think about it for yourself. This will get you closer to what is so very important to you in this present moment of your life, and what is important to you about the value that you put out into the world and the impact that you want to have in the world. So the exercise is heavy, so after that you might need some time to just, soothe yourself and come back to yourself with something light and humorous. And I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to sit with all the emotions that come up, but I also encourage you to nurture yourself. When you think of who do you want to become, give yourself permission to dream. Born in the Caribbean, and so dreaming for me only meant dreaming as far as what occurred around me, like what occurred in Barbados. So when I looked around me, what was the highest position? What was it that the most creative person was doing? Like, what was the most exciting and exhilarating thing that was available? A lot of that, even though we had US television, a lot of it felt only realistic based on what was available to us in Barbados. And if you're from humble beginnings, or you're from a place like in the Caribbean where avenues may not be as readily available as other parts of the world, then your ability to dream may have a cap. And I want to encourage you to give yourself permission to push beyond that, because your mind only expands as far as you're willing to take it. And you have to be able to be brave enough to take it past your current circumstances and just go as big as you possibly can. And so if it is that you live in the countryside of your very small island or your very small town, and you desire to be the biggest movie star there is in the world, That might seem like an impossible dream to you, and so you wouldn't even bother to dream it because you don't even know how to get from your town to your main city in your country, or you don't even know how to get from your island to the island that's next door. And that can be scary, but I encourage you to dream it. I encourage you to think of it. Give yourself the permission, because that big dream then gives you the impetus, the motivation to take the first step. And that first step will lead to another step. And that next step may lead to another step that puts you on a path that eventually gets you beyond your borders, beyond your boundaries, beyond your limitations, beyond your small town, into the city, beyond the city, into the next country, and the world is your oyster. So give yourself the permission to dream. A lot of people are fearful about dreaming, and I want to encourage you to not let that fear shut you down. Fear is only useful in the moment that it keeps you protected from danger. There's no danger here in dreaming, so fear has no use here. Once you ignite your heart in that way, your heart then guides you to the next step, and it puts you in the environment of who you truly authentically are and what truly inspires your heart. And that, my friends, is the only way to live. The only way to live is to be involved in things that are important to you, that speak to you, because God gave you a unique life. He gave you a unique spirit, a unique soul, and so your particular soul has a particular assignment, and it's important that you find out what that is. So in your journey to becoming, I encourage you to continue to be brave, continue to believe, because belief is the gas in your car. Belief is the thing that will get your car moving in the direction that it's meant to go to. So practice all the things that I spoke about today, and if you don't yet have your copy, you can get this, your personal development and productivity planner. There's so much in here that will guide you towards shifting your mindset, that will guide you to ask you the questions that you need to ask yourself in order to get clear on who you are and where you want to be and who you want to become and what your present life is asking you for and all that good stuff. There's so much of it in here. It helps you get clear on your purpose. So be sure, if you don't have yours yet, to get your copy, and I will put it in the link below. If you do have it, take your time. If you haven't finished the exercise, your personal assessment at the beginning, be sure to do that. Take your time in filling it out, but make sure that you finish it before you set out on your year. I don't want you to shortchange yourself. I want you to have all the information, be fully informed as you step out on your path. I've also put below, we're starting my 12-week transformation program, acceleration program. It starts in March, but enrollment is open now. I will be putting the details of that below. If you want to completely transform your life and collapse time and catalyze everything that you've been working on to achieve it this year, then you're going to want to be a part of this 12-week transformation acceleration program. So if you're interested in it, the information is going to be below. But guys, as usual, love, light, and possibility. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends, please share it with your family. I want transformation for you for 2024, and I hope that you want it badly enough for yourself, that you take action, that you set out, that you give yourself permission, that you believe, and that you achieve. Blessings. I'll see you here next time.